Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Hurry Up. I'm your host, Adam. Let's get into this. So, the New York Giants and the Commanders tie. Tie! Who in the hell ties? Oh, I know. The Texans and the Indianapolis Colts. They tie. Bad teams tie. We got tied. Tied with the Commanders. The one shot the Giants had to possibly beat this team. I mean, you can tell me they're going to beat them in Washington. I'll believe it when I see it. Okay? You had to split with them, right? So let's say this is the split. You win this game, they win that game. Well, guess what? Now favors in them. They're playing in their building now. Giant fans, the offense is putrid. Putrid! Oh, well, they didn't score any points. The only reason they scored points in this game in the second half was because of the fumble by Azeez Ojulari. Thank God that guy's back. If it wasn't for that, we don't know. Maybe they would score points. I have no idea. These two teams were offensive ineptitude. Okay, we want to talk about receiving core. I mean, Terry McLaurin went off for 100 yards. Yet that team was bottled up enough, but yet Tyler Heinicke had 275 yards. Our quarterback had 271, and everyone's like, that's great. Yet the quarterback on the other side threw that many yards. He had 278 yards, if you really want to, 281 yards, if you really want to know. He did outplay our quarterback, unfortunately. And for whatever reason, they don't like to throw with this guy. Yes, you can tell me about the Slayton drop. I get it. Yes, you can tell me about the Slayton bomb. Okay, great. Take that bomb away, then he's really didn't play that great of a game. However, the running game, he had some solid runs. I get it. But I didn't pay Daniel Jones to be a runner. I'm paying Saquon Barkley to do that, who, by the way, again, didn't go for 100 yards. The Giants have struggled since the bye week, since they came out and couldn't put the Texans away early. Then they lost to the Lions, who are now surging. And then they lose to the Cowboys, which I was like, oh, underman, don't worry. It was okay. We were down, destined to lose. We held all those teams. And now we get a tie. And we're like, oh, it's okay. Don't worry. We're still like, get a little fire in your belly. Be angry. We basically lost three in a row. We most likely, I'll pretty much say this. I'm 90% sure we're not going to win a game in December. Because we got the Eagles, who people are like, oh, this is our best chance to win. Give me a break. They just dropped 35 on the Titans. The Titans, who are a pretty good team. They dropped 35 on them. And let me tell you, the Titans overall are a better talented team than us. You can tell me all you want. They have no receivers, but they made it work. And yet they bludgeoned that team. And then they're going to come up to MetLife Stadium and put a hurting on us. Oh, we can stop them. We can outrun them. We can't even beat the Commanders. This offense is not doing well. And then I have people telling me we're going to beat Minnesota because they have a bad defense. Give me a break. What in the hell are we smoking here? Like, listen, I love being a Giant fan. I love the New York Giants to death. I mean, look at all this stuff in here. Look at what I'm wearing now. But I'm a realist. Realistically, the Giants may not win a game in December. Right? We're in December right now. They play the Eagles. They can play a game at Washington, which ain't going to be easy. It's the only game I think they have a chance of winning if they do. And they play Minnesota. You have an Indianapolis team who, by the way, got absolutely destroyed by the Cowboys, who put up 53 points. That's what you're supposed to do when you play an inferior team. Oh, but we don't have receivers. Oh, we don't have that. Yeah, okay, great. I understand it. I don't feel sorry for this team. I don't feel sorry for Brian Daboll and this team. They're going out and playing every week. That's what the fans need to do. If you can tell me that this team can win, I don't want to hear excuses when they lose. I don't. This team was 7-2. We're trying. I heard this. We're a dangerous team in the playoffs. At this point, we may not even make the playoffs. Thankfully, we're getting a break because 49ers lost their quarterback. So hopefully, we can sneak in. And it sucks for Jimmy Garoppolo again, getting injured. But the 49ers aren't the team that they are. There's three teams in the NFC that I think are going to represent in the Super Bowl. Minnesota, we play them. Philadelphia, we play them. Dallas, we just played them. And now you're going to have a Ron Rivera team coming off a 10 days rest because they now get to study everything we do in the next 2 weeks. They get to study this game in the tie, and they get to study the shit that we do against the Eagles. I'm just tired of people just not, just always making excuses for losses and not just saying we sucked. The coaching sucked. The players sucked. The tie sucks. That's it. It sucks. I don't care. Oh, well, it sucks. It fucking sucks. And now we want to say, oh, well, now we're going to get in with 9 wins. Where are those wins coming? Oh, because you think the Eagles are going to lie down for us on January, whatever they are, January 10th? Well, the Eagles are just going to do a Giants a favor. Like, come on. Come on. The Eagles didn't do the Giants a favor when they played the Redskins. They let the Redskins walk into the playoffs. But you want them to lie down for us. Okay. We'll see. With 2 weeks off, if they get the bye, I can still think they'll play at least a half in their building with their crowd. Come on. The Giants have no talent to score with these teams. They have to play grind out football. And if that doesn't work, they're in trouble because they can't pass to get out of situations. I mean, they passed once. Darius Slayton dropped it. And then they didn't really do much after that. They went 3 and out a majority of the second half. And you got to give some credit to the Commanders' defense, who only let them score 1 time in the second half. Our defense put this guy Henny under siege, and at 4th and 4, he makes a play downfield to tie the game. They drive the football and tie the football game. We don't have the horses to compete with these teams. If the Eagles go up and the quarterback alone last week in this past game had 5 touchdowns himself. He threw for like 4 and then ran for 1 and threw for 380 something yards. You can tell me all the weapons he has. That's fine. You got to still execute the plays. The thing that gets on my nerves is about, hey, this guy has this guy has that. You know why Mahomes is so good? It's because he makes those players good. They don't just, you put fucking those guys on another team with our quarterback. Do they have the same output? They don't. Tyreek Hill's the exception to the rule. And the other problem is we don't let people develop. We just want to think, magically we're going to put these guys in here. They're going to elevate their game. We had our line back, and we still didn't win the football game. That's all I heard all week. Oh, we're going to get our line back. We're going to get our line back. It's going to be fine. Guess what? We still gave him 3 sacks. Daniel still had a fumble on a run. That's why I don't run him as a quarterback. And every time we run outside of the Jaguars game and he's the leading rusher, we don't win. He led the Giants in rushing in Dallas. We didn't win those 2 games. Seattle, he didn't even really run. The game that he ran a lot in was Jacksonville. We're like, oh my God, he has 100 and then guess what? The Eagles quarterback came back and ran for 185 the next week. Like, come on. I hate to be that guy to slap reality in the face to people. Because, again, this is not for views or subscriptions or whatever the hell that people want on Facebook. I just give it to you like I see it. The way I saw it yesterday was a disaster. It's a joke. You want me to believe this team's going to the playoffs? You can't even knock off the Commanders, who, by the way, are the same freaking team. You saw the stats at halftime. They were the same all the way down. Same time of possession. Same amount of plays. Almost same amount of yardage. And same amount of sacks. This game was a mirror image of 2 teams. And we couldn't put them away. Sure, the quarterback ran the ball nice. Their quarterback had a nice game too. He threw for 2 touchdowns. Our guy threw 1. He threw 1 on a gimme touchdown where we got the ball back. Outside of that, we didn't do anything. Our punter is not that great. Our defense is playing hard. That's what they do. They play hard, but they're lacking of talent in certain areas, and you saw that. Offensively, they don't trust the quarterback. Why do you think they play it so conservatively? You got to play balls to the wall. You're trying to win a freaking football game. And John Feliciano, I've seen enough of you. Goodbye. If that were Bill Parcells, that guy would have been on the next freaking train out of here. He would have been like, oh, you want to get taunty and cost us a football game? Great. The Giants are not good enough to overcome dumb penalties, mistakes, ineptitude offense. They can't do it. If the Giants don't get their way in how they play, they don't win. Fact. If they don't get a late turnover in a game, they don't win. Fact. They can't overcome these things. You want to call lack of talent? Fine. You want to say it's the offensive line? Fine, but they invested in the offensive line. It's called this team is rebuilding. And the NFL is catching up with the Giants. It's true. We may not want to see it because we had these rosy-colored glasses on at 7-2. And that's another thing. When we went 7-2, expectations changed. Now we lost almost 3 in a row, and it's like, well, we're still rebuilding. No, you're either rebuilding or you're trying to go to the playoffs. And if you're trying to go to the playoffs, you can't lose these games. 50-50 games. This is a game you should have won. That Lions game is still haunting us right now. Because they win that game, you don't care if they're 8-3-1 or whatever the case may be. Instead, they're 7-4. And if they lose to the Eagles on Sunday, which I think is a highly possibility, they're going to lose because the Eagles are steamrolling everybody. The Giant fans want to believe, oh, what offense do we have to catch that team if they hit lightning in a bottle? Because they're going to hit lightning in a bottle. Their defense, they're going to beat our defense. It's just a fact. They're going to score points. And if they score us because we can only score 20 points a game, Giants are averaging 20 points a game. They're 28th in the pass game. 28th. They know how to beat us. Saquon Barkley again, not 100 yards. He doesn't get 100 yards, we don't win. Stats proved it. The Giants are like 5-0 when he gets 100 yards or whatever the case may be. When he doesn't get 100 yards, they're 0-4. Now they're 0-4-1. We need to stop accepting mediocrity. Okay? Stop just making excuses. Oh, well, the team needs, if you're going to go out there and play, you think the NFL cares you're running third string receivers out there? No. That's on you. You didn't want to make a trade at the deadline? Fine. That's on you. That's on you, Joe Shane. Do you want to sit Kenny Golladay and make him a healthy scratch? Which I told you people he wasn't going to do much. I got shit for it. People are like, oh, what are you talking about? He's a hater, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? He's a shit. There are guys to be brought in. They don't bring in anybody. They don't help anybody. They roll out the quarterback because he can't read the field. So they try to help him out. And even then, it's not working. You can't run bootlegs the entire time. Our team is average. Our QB is average. That's what we are. We're just an average football team. That's it. And it's okay to say that. But don't come in here and say, well, puff our chests up after the putrid performance. We are 1-2-1 in the month of November, this last 4 stretch of games. And now we have 3 more games left in December, which we played the Eagles, Minnesota, and the Washington Commanders. Who, the Commanders, if the Giants lose on Sunday, are going to be tied and have their spot. And if Seattle wins, guess what? We're out. And Seattle has a road to at least 9 wins. They can definitely beat the Panthers on Sunday, and they definitely can beat the Rams again. And now that the 49ers have lost their quarterback, there's a chance for them to beat that team. They can get 10 wins. So this game against Washington coming up in 2 weeks, that's the season. I don't want to hear, well, that's the season. Because, Indianapolis isn't going to come here and lie down. Even though they shit the bed against the Cowboys, who obviously are one of the best teams in football right now. They're not going to come in here and lie down. They have a decent defense. They have playmakers. They don't have a quarterback that really can get them to that playmakers. And there you go. Matt Ryan's washed. We don't score touchdowns. We play okay defense. And we're right now struggling at the worst time of football. Right? We should have been like 500 now going in and then winning these games. You shouldn't have lost to the Lions. The Lions are in rebuild mode. The loss to the Lions. The Cowboys game. Everyone's like, oh, we were in that game. Well, if we were in that game, why not win it? We didn't win it because we had no talent to win the game. And they played their B game. If they played their A game, we would have been embarrassed 53 to whatever. And then we play the Commanders, who I said it's not going to be an easy out. I had people tell me it's a lock. We got a lock for this win. Win this, win that. It's no worries, no worries. And then the Giants let that team right back in the game in the end of the fourth quarter. Heineke magic, whatever you want to call it. You got to win these games. We're in a different, if you want to believe that we're in rebuild mode, then it don't matter what happens the next 5 weeks. If you don't care that, hey, this team's, rebuilding, then don't worry about the playoffs. Just enjoy the season. But if you want to get to the playoffs, it's time. You can't just be tying teams up and then say, oh, we'll get them down the road. That's not how this works. What do you think the Commanders are saying? They're going to go back and say, well, this is what us failed. They're going to get a couple guys back, just like we are. Which, by the way, didn't really help us because, we had Daniel Bellinger. We still scored 20 points. We rushed for over 100 yards, but not an individual had 100 yards. Just overall. That's great. Our best two players combined had over 100 yards. Yet we still lost the football game. Everything was in favor for the Giants. They had ample opportunities to win this game, and they blew it. I blame Brian Daboll, I blame Kafka, and I blame the quarterback. I do. Those are the three guys responsible for the offense ineptitude. And you can tell me, well, they don't have receivers, bro. I don't care. I don't care. You go out with who you play with. You either make them better or you don't. That's just the name of the game. Those are the rules. That's how it works. Watch every NFL team. When the backup quarterback comes in, usually the team dips. You build a game plan that works. Why? How in the hell does Cooper Rush win 4 games? Because they were like, oh, well, this happens. He wasn't throwing monster games. He wasn't doing things that were crazy. They found a way to score points even with that guy in there. And we can't score shit. But we want to blame everything on the ineptitude of the wide receivers. Come on. You're in the NFL. Ain't nobody feels sorry for you. Nobody feels sorry for the Giants. And they have nobodies. That's on them. They had all off season. They came in and evaluated the roster. The entire off season. And you want to tell me now? Oh, it's a problem. It's a problem. Just like offensive line. We knew it was a problem. You either go out there and you play with the guys or you lie down and quit. If you're not going to quit, then go out there and fucking play. Make a fucking play. They don't make plays because they don't get open. And if they don't get open, they have to be schemed open. But look at Hodgins. He got open. Look at Slayton. He got open. What happens? All of a sudden, that's it? Bellinger. He was open. You can't tell me these guys can't get open. The problem is they don't score points. You're inside the red zone. You don't throw the ball once to the end zone unless you're inside it. It's like you gotta throw it. Yeah. When's the last time the Giants got a pass interference call down the field? Not an offensive PI, a regular PI. Because they don't do it. The reason they don't do it is because no one's afraid of them. Yeah, they'll let Slayton catch his 50-yard bomb. Where the hell was he the rest of the game? Why not try Isaiah Hodgins? He seems to be 6'4". Why don't you throw a ball up to him? Marcus Robinson, who we hate, is playing gunner. And why not incorporate Brightwell and Burita? We've lost the creativity. I don't want to blame the offensive line because it can't be that. It can't just be, oh, well, our receivers are that inept. It's not. It's a collective group. The offense stinks right now. That's just a fact. They can't score more than 20 points a game the last 3 games. They didn't even score 20 against, they scored 20 against what? Detroit. They lost by 11. They scored 20 against the Cowboys. Probably should have lost by 11, but they lost by 8. And people were like, oh, that was a garbage time touchdown. And then this game, after 10 days off, we had 10 days off, and this is the offense you come up with? I'll see you guys on Wednesday with the real deal NFC's roundup with my boy Mac the Giant Fan. We'll get into this more and more with these teams. But don't sit here and try to tell me, well, the Eagles are our shot. No, our shot's in Washington, and if we lose it, it's over.